Welcome to my channel. Greed, gone, mad and cruel. Do elites, globalists or deep state belong to US alone as commonly believed? Greed is a universal pattern. On extreme, it goes mad and cruel, and one indulges in relentless profit making at any cost. It happened during Atlantis. It happened during Mahabharata. You can recognize this pattern operating to a lesser extent within the psyche of people around you, maybe in your own close circles of family and friends. Depending upon an individual's personal views or ideas, elites, globalist, deep state is perceived as belonging to a particular nation such as US, UK, Germany, Italy, combined Europe, or something else altogether. In this talk, we will discuss what model actually is behind their operations and what is their main agenda and where exactly on earth elites, globalists, or deep state reside primarily. Currently, we are hearing talks of humanity moving from a unipolar world towards a multipolar world. US is believed by most as a unipolar power in the world in global affairs. According to David Wine, a professor of political anthropology at the American University in Washington, US had around 750 bases in at least 80 countries as of July 2021. It had about 173,000 troops deployed in 159 countries. The actual number may be even higher, as not all data is published by the Pentagon. United States launched at least 251 military interventions between 1991 and 2022. This is according to a report by the Congressional Research Service, a US government institution that compiles information on behalf of Congress. The report documented another 218 US military interventions between 1798 and 1990. So basically, there are more US invasions and interventions in the last 30 years than in the previous 200 years or even more. These invasions have not been for the sake of any ideological or religious reasons. I repeat, these invasions have not been for the sake of any ideological or religious reasons. They are not to spread democracy as believed. They have been primarily carried out for economic reasons, to access and control resources and markets. According to sources, US does not enter a country unless it is followed by businessmen and corporations. Basically, military and political power of US is being mobilized and used to secure and protect the interest of financial elites. In other words, financial elites are behind the military and political power of US. And this is being mobilized and used to secure and protect their own interests. Now comes the question. Do elites, globalists, or deep state belong to US alone? They may or they may not be American, nor they are loyal to US or any other countries for that matter, or any other countries they live in. And this fact has to be understood. They may be citizens of any country, but they belong to no nation. US is simply the strongest and the most coercive instrument of power in the world today. And for that reason alone, it is being utilized by the contingent of extremely powerful financial elites who belong to no nation. So basically, in other words, US being the strongest and the most coercive instrument of power in the world today. And that is the reason alone US is being utilized by these extremely powerful financial elites. And these financial elites belong to no nation. The power belongs to a private sector run by elites. I repeat, the power belongs to a private sector run by elites. They are not a country nor a nation state, but they dominate global affairs. They run world's most governments as deep state. They control world's major resources, media and businesses. They own world's major corporations, major banks, pharmaceutical companies, and the major stocks. Behind all major pushed narratives through media, we see a strong motive for their profit and financial interest. It is useful for us to change our thinking and think of them as rich investors looking for their personal interests and profits, and not get swayed by their promises for working for world's benefit, world security and economic interests. No, it is not in their operation to work for the world's benefit, security, or economic interest, because basically they are rich investors looking for their own personal interest and their profits. As we can now see in Europe, this new imperial class has no hesitation in undermining economic stability, the financial well-being, the living conditions, the quality of lives, and peace and tranquility of any nation. And for that matter, even of Western nations. Difficult to digest? Of course it is. But we have to confront this reality. Elites belong to no nation. They belong to a private sector. Maybe it is not wise to put a blame on any one country or a set of countries, because elites belong to no nation. They belong to a private sector. We have to recognize and dispel common belief nation states do not exist as independent power entities in the West. I repeat, nation states or national states do not exist as independent power entities in the West. They are subordinate to a private sector. And this private sector is a national class of imperialistic owners of capitalism. Their idea of being a totally separate class belonging to a private sector is being adopted by major businessmen across the world. Major government officials are pushing elites' agendas behind major economic and political deals between the countries. It is now being spoken by many. The Western neoliberal political and economic model is hostile to national sovereignty. So this political and economic model of these private sector elites is hostile to national sovereignty. It is hostile to democracy. It is hostile to independent governments. This model is hostile to any social contract. In this model, the highest duty of every nation, institution, and every citizen of any government is simply, quite simply, to cooperate and share profits. Become a shareholder. Now, the last question comes for this talk. How long such a model of excessive greed go on? Well, for as long as it remains hidden under a wrap of some religion, some country, some elites in a particular country, or any single or multiple entity. So people like to project the blame of their own misfortune on a particular religion, a religious leader, or some country, or some elites in particular country, or any single or multiple entity. For as long as the masses remain unawakened, this model of excessive greed will go on. But there is also some light. There is also some good news. Light is spreading. People are awakening. They are seeing the hidden and the masked faces of elites, globalist, and deep state behind obvious and seen governments. So people are now recognize the governments are not they seem to be. There is an underhand. There is a hidden and masked faces of elites, globalists, or deep state behind. So illusions are definitely shattering. Truth is slowly shining, slowly but surely. No game lasts forever. Truth cannot remain hidden forever under the lies. Eventually, the truth shines. So with this, I close this video with leaving your responsibility to share this video with as many people as you can. It is the awareness of the people and the masses to be able to see what is actually going on and who are the people behind all this corruption, and where does these people reside. So please share and subscribe to this new channel of mine, which is Silver Cloud Official, and my main channel remains Anshu Sharma 90. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.